Here I am, guys, in this little circle here. How is life? Happy New Year's to all. Seasons greetings, all that fun Merry Christmas stuff. A little bit better at that. I don't feel so short. Yeah. This is the technique of me being able to use this circle, put my pen in the circle, and move myself around. And I'll use, oh, there we go. We can use the pen as direction, so it's almost like you're following it straight through there. Hello, Jim. How are you? Same to you. So with my pen, I'll be able to guide you guys a little bit. And I'm just talking about this video that I just put up. They are here 365 days a year. Large Bigfoot gathering under evergreen tree, and so on and so forth. And I get 116 views to this point approximately now. Doesn't make sense to me. I think I'm partly ripped off by YouTube, and I think I'm partly ripped off by you guys because you feel you don't like it that I'm trying to get you to put in effort. See, what I see out there in the industry is I see a lot of people who also put up pictures. And I'm a certain amount skilled watcher. You are. And everybody else has their own skills, okay? And for me living out here, actually, how I do, and I have for 3 years amongst these beings, I don't have a problem saying I will sit down with the best professional in the world, any of them. And I think I would end up having most of the conversation where they got to learn stuff off of me. Not to say they wouldn't have key things that I wouldn't want to hear from them. Maybe even some things, really, I never knew that, and I'm learning off of them, and so on and so forth. But when it comes to my 3 years of living amongst these beings like this, the amount of information is way different, and you'll hear other long livers, guys who camp out with them, you'll hear them testify that. But I also will testify against their word, that I will say that I'm not, everybody expects us to be modest and all that kind of stuff, and I really am. I mean, look at how I live. I'm not, I don't got much. I do what I do, and right now it's all about trying to get the word out to people. It's not about getting my dollar running so primely or anything like that, so I can have all the bells and whistles of comfort. When you got too much comfort, you don't necessarily look for the right answer sometimes. And people know that, and I realize that that has really helped me out here. Going back, before I go on with this, I'm just going to, I don't have much time here. I just want to tell a real quick story that I just reflected on today. My very first day that I pulled over to the side of the road, the night before I said a prayer. If you've heard me to make that statement, I said a prayer the night before. The next day, I have some injury issues that I have to deal with, and they can be stressful. And this is 3+ years ago. They were very stressful. I pull over to the side of the road, and I think because I had walked this bit of a trail here 3 or 4 times previously, and I go, I'm going to do like the Bigfooter guys I've heard do, and not walk on this trail, but I'm going to walk into the bush. So I did that, and right away I found some other trails. I was such a frustrated person that day. For the first time, maybe in all my time to that point, I don't know, but I had even forgotten my cell phone when I went to another community to have an appointment, and in that community is where I did my first walk. I never drove all the way back to my town. And so the big point here, I was cell-less. I had nothing to take pictures. And I think to myself, whatever, just today or something, I thought to myself, if I would have had my camera, would I have been into the mushrooms, click, 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 the ferns, click, 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 the birds around me, click, 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 Whatever's going on, would I have been lost there? Might have been. But I got to have 2 hours of my brain just go, wow. Because part of that time, it's hard for people to believe. It's really hard. I had an experience. I had the experience of different markings, and that's why I first named myself the Tracker. And it wasn't immediately. It was about, this is day 1, day 22 or 3 is when I realized, well, I can track them, because I was in a different area, and I've told that story too, and it'll come up again. And so I gave myself that nickname Tracker based off of realizing that studying for 21 days in about 15 to 20 acres, I broke it up into 3 different parcels. They all had 3 different names. And 21 days in there. On my last day, guys, I stood there with my camera and pointed out to this real thick, just behind the whole 20-acre parcel. And I commented how, I got you on the wrong side. Don't like to turn my neck that way. Anyways, so I commented how I'm going to have to learn how to track these guys through that stuff. And I remember when I was doing it, I had a lot of fear feeling, looking into the thick of that. And I'm just thinking, wow, you just die out there, man. How do you know if a bear's around a corner or what's going on? I promise you, when I was filming it, I remember that. Anyways, life goes on. Here I sit today. So having said that, for you to really get into my focus is you got to listen to my words. And I think a lot of people cut themselves short, tend not to believe me, tend to maybe think I'm wishy-washy, tend to think that I think I see more than I really do. All those kind of things. And the reason is because my story really is bigger than the other guys. As modest as I can say that, living like this, not trying to, I don't know. People talk about going to higher educations and try to get, I've been to the police, man. I've talked to a number of educated people and stuff. I've talked to lots of people. I know how I get treated on the subject. I know what you're thinking about half of the time. I know my small little group of people that really try to be with me on most of the subject. And maybe they feel bad at times because they fully can't be where I am on the subject. And it tends to make them want to keep going to another researcher and just hearing talk about structures and how a structure is maybe I don't know if people are still talking about it, but people used to talk like that was the place where these beings were being energized down from another planet or something, and the structure is where they landed or something like that. It was almost like, I don't know the real terminology for the words, but it was almost like that kind of spooky stuff. I ain't talking about the spooky stuff. I talk about stuff that we can put in a weird realm, like they have a glow energy, and it's, to us, we understand it as like light. They use it and give a definition to us on our visual to understand it as light. And we will be learning lots more about this stuff. But, light is here. We play around with lasers. We project lasers out to space to certain extents now and stuff. What we can't do is we can't project the laser without still an energy flow and let it be on its own. We can't do that yet. We can, like a bullet. You shoot it, and once it's gone, it's on its own. Big missiles or whatever type thing, they have guidance things. Maybe they can fly them and so on and so forth. Light energy, we cannot separate from it and let it follow the direction it was supposed to. It was programmed into it. not unless it's carrying something with it. Anyway, so this is kind of where I'm at with these beings, is they got a glow energy, and they're capable of using it for magnificent things. I've seen it. I've sat here where this picture is hour after hour just noticing this stuff. They've given it to me in all kind, like they've given examples, or I don't even know if you'd call it an example, but to me I'm going, wow, what an example. But they've given me multiple different examples, and the way that I know how to connect it with these guys is the way I keep talking about this place, and the way that I'm going to show you in a moment or two here on, and I'm going to remind you to, like, the name on this video is something about, what do we got? Oh, not on this video, but the video that I'm, the upload that I'm doing right now, this live right now, efforts for your facts. Right? That's the difference. And I have said it lots of times. So a person that will take the time and follow what I'm going to tell them today, and will take the time and actually do as I recommend. And I'm going to recommend, get yourself one of these guys. Obviously a magnifying glass, right? It's a 7 times. It's like $10 or less. It's real glass, so if you unscrew it, you can clean them and stuff. But it's real glass, it's not plastic, which is nice in this magnifier. And it's two glasses in this one to make it that strength. And all I do is I put it right on top of the phone, just like that. And then I hit pause and play. And yeah, you can have a whole different understanding of what's going on. What we're going to show you today here. Why I paused it right here is, so this big pile, like I'm on top of the black dot right now of where I want you guys to focus. It's this evergreen, so it's that evergreen tree right there. You can't tell too much because there's some branches from this tree right behind this one or whatever coming out like that. But I wanted to stop because you see that black dot right there? Right there. That is them too. But see where the angle is? See if I pull myself straight up from this pile of them. So there's a big pile of them under here. There's a whole bunch of them here I'm going to show you on this side. Just say this part right beside me right here is all of it. See all that blackness right there? That's them. See under the tree here? You're just thinking it's all shadow and stuff, but you got other trees around here to be able to see for shadow understanding, okay? So use your understanding with these different branches and stuff. But anyways, so right here I'm on a pile of them. Then I come up to another pile of them that I think are ground-based pile mostly. And they're right there. But what I want you to realize is where that black mark's going to end up in a moment, because this camera angle, and I'm trying to emphasize on you that camera, 3-dimensional, the 4th dimension. I personally have an understanding for the 4th dimension. This is not at all something that's talked about out there in the world or whatever. We all get the 3D. We get the 1D, 2D, 3D. Right now, it's just like we're looking at a 1-dimensional, isn't it? Just this flat surface, and that's all we get to see is these different things. So now what you have to do is you have to use your brain to help calculate stuff out. Like, you got to calculate this fence post right there isn't holding up that tree branch. It's actually, the fence post is way close here, and the tree's back from it. Then you can use more depth from there. But when you get so far back like that, it's really hard to do. So if I hit volume down, because I don't want to yell on this. So on these videos, I don't talk about what I'm talking about at all right now. So I'm even telling you something different than what's on this video. So listen to this in particular actual video, which is called that. And watch all of this. Use my examples. Try to understand what I'm talking about. Try to ask me some good questions and stuff. I love good questions, not huge questions. Just get to your point. What's that magnifying glass called? I don't know. But anyways, so now if I actually just went and started to play it, because we can do that. So what is happening right now is I'm just standing down this way. Now I'm going to walk up this way, and we get to see those black compilations of them really separate up here. You see where the one's going? Let me just hit pause for a second. So now we're still right. Whoops. I was actually pointing in the screen. So this is where we are still, right? I mean, that's where the big pile of them is I'm wanting to talk about. We're going to be talking about right there, a couple there, and so on and so forth, because there's these little tester guys there, right? But you see, this one's becoming, there it is there. So it's becoming quite a bit more separated. You see that? So that's a perfect understanding for you guys to realize that with that, whoops, here I go using the pen again. But see how right kind of below me here, there's like a triangular shape of 3 dots, black in particular dots and stuff. This little bit of a movement thing that we're talking about here, and you're magnified in on those 3 dots, and you're allowing the camera just to play through those 3 or 4 frames, and you're going like that. You might get to catch some information that helps you get real with this. Get real with the subject and get real with it on the level that I'm at, because that's what I'm looking for. I'm soon driving somebody to work, so I gotta hit pause here in a minute, and I'm just gonna jump into this a little bit for you. So we've come way over here, and you kind of get to see where that black pile is. Now it's right here. They might be tree, because where's the earth going? You know what? That's something in the tree, I think, because the red dot, we'll use my red dot as the pointer. Anyways, because I think the earth is kind of coming here. This is the climb of the mountain. Yeah, I'm going to say those ones right with my red dot there are tree sitting. Right there, there's a little pile of them that are in the bush on the ground there and stuff. And these are little clumps of them. And what it is you just don't get to understand the rest of the tree stuff here. That's part of the stuff that you guys aren't realizing. You don't really get to understand them. My red dot is the talker. So you don't really understand. You get to see a couple in here, but you don't really get to understand what's going on for true tree value. But if you come in here and look right here, I'll tell you what's happening. Some of these extending shadows, you see this big tree. We've been hanging out around this big tree. Look at its shadow. Okay. So if there's anything that's going to be extending out from here at all, it's somehow got to be warranted from the branches or something sticking out. So just be aware of that when you're looking. Now, if you took that little cup and you put it just over top of here, you cover a lot of it, right? And then you just do the I kid you not, guys, the amount of information you will start to understand and appreciate. Well, obviously, you go like that. You do your whatever better screen and stuff, but you literally get to see a whole whack of them move around. Even these red dot, remember? Even in some of these littler, smaller spots where it's only going to be a couple of small guys or whatever, maybe right here there's a couple climbing up in the tree and stuff. Like, I don't know how good you are. I don't know how patient you are, and I don't know if you've got a great big monitor. I got a 4-inch LCD screen for my 99.9% of research. And I'm lucky because when I videotape, this in particular camera does a zoom in on my videotaping. So this one is a live, okay, camera show. So I don't get to do videotaping. I never videotaped it, but I do have videotapes of this. So I get to use with my own camera where I've zoomed right in on this area. And I know for a fact that's a super favorite hotspot for them. You guys might think, well, why didn't you just go there first and stuff like that? And it's kind of like, it's my style. I'm trying hard to get you to try hard because you don't want to just believe me. You want to be able to get your own answers. It's not um, it's not, I'm guiding you to answers. Honestly, compassionately guiding us all to answers. I don't have all the answers. I'm still guiding myself to answers. And I get to bigger and bigger. You know what I was sitting thinking last night, you guys? Whether it's whether I'm really there or not, I don't know. But it's a real thing. And yeah. And sometimes I get my hopes worked up more, and it's because of certain things that are going on around me in my real world here, of my close proximity, where I'm going, okay, buddy over there's doing that, my dad's over in Abbotsford, my family's celebrating Christmas, we're all doing what we're doing. Well, sometimes I get my hopes up. I'll see a kid in a computer store or something like that, and I'll kind of, what do you mean by this is? Bam, you might have just jumped on. I said a whole bunch of stuff to, oh, I see. I see what you're saying, but that doesn't matter. I'm not saying the unpositive answer, right? I can sit here. That's what you have to do that's what attracts a lot of the people, because we've gone through a 10-year system of belly aching. We complain about everybody. We complain about whatever. And yeah, and I don't do it very much. And I've always kind of tried to turn my kids the other direction. Don't complain about it. Talk about the good parts and stuff. When my mother passed away number of years ago now, I mean, immediately, some people even would probably look at me and think that I wasn't maybe handling my mother's death very well or whatever. But I would talk about all the great, I couldn't even really make myself talk about the sorrows of this lady being gone now, and me have to go through all that upsetness. Not to say that I didn't. I understood it, and I kind of dealt with it, and I did it. And yeah, so that's where I lie with that stuff. So I'm the guy who's preaching, this is what you have to do. I'm not going to Zoom this for you, in other words. Why should I Zoom it when that quality comes in crappier probably than what you can do with a magnifying glass at home? I don't have the capabilities of doing all that kind of cropping and such. Also is part of the reason. Part of the thing is, maybe you don't like is you just hear a straight up stubborn man just talking, but it's not that at all. I only have so much effort that I can put into this. I only got so much of a life that I can do and stuff, and I've been living 3 years. And so you guys can go and look at 3 years of my stuff, and you can find an unidentified a number of these beings, an unidentified, like you wouldn't even be able to really come up to a calculation on the full count of the numbers. And and those views really started on this one in particular video out on Vancouver Island, I recall. And it was one of those luck chances. I would think it was one of my first times I was really cluing in, and I hung around there for like 20 minutes. And, after 20 minutes of standing amongst these guys, sometimes, especially in the early days, you really feel like almost like you're draining yourself because you're using all this control emotion maybe or something like that, anxiety emotion and stuff, and you're kind of trying to just make it even keel like that, right? Keep a steady hand instead of going like this with your camera. And yeah, so I guess it takes effort, and I've gotten way better with it and way more in understanding and stuff. And what I was kind of getting back to a minute ago there before, and I didn't mean to badmouth you, I'll read your other comment in a minute there, Bam, and I'm not trying to argue or be a chump there at all or anything. But I wanted to say that, yeah, I kind of get into the spot where I'm trying to, my efforts of being able to put forth and really try to connect with them and and just kind of like this tree right there, literally just hop the fence and just directly walk up to them, keep my eyes right on my compile that I like, like say if you went to where the red dot is, that if I looked right there, it's the base of the tree and stuff, plus you get to see figures there and stuff. So if you look there, you'll get to see there pretty good. All of it, you get to see a number of stuff, and you get throughout this little video of the camera just leaning there, you get to see tons of movement. And then look at other areas, and then study other areas. Come to where you're going to suspect there is nothing there, and you get, say the red dot again, and you study this area and see how much the tree moves and stuff, and how much stuff is really moving in the area, or things flashing in and out. Are they doing a lot of that? And try to understand what all the shadowing and different lighting, and then come down here and try to, like, even in my camera with its quality, sometimes the way a camera will work, it'll run its colors. So sometimes when you red dot, remember you're looking at this, you see a lot of green here, and then you see this maybe yellow coming in here. When you're actually watching my video, sometimes you can see it's just like a weird color running in the camera. So even when you're watching all this stuff, you have to be fair and think about all those things. So it's not to me, it's, I've spent hundreds of hours actually making myself so understood that I 100% believe what I say. And part of what I say is I'm not near 50%, or not. I don't know how not near. Yeah, I'm not near, I don't know, 2% of what they are or something. I don't know. And here I keep studying, but most of all, I do it for you guys. I do it for myself. I do it for my family. I'm not copping any corners. I do it equally for everybody. And I will until I get so burned out or a change gets to come along that I get to start doing it in a different way. And that's one of the things. You won't lose me. I'll be in a different system somehow, trying to help the education process. And that's all I'm ever going to be about, is the education process here. This is what I kind of feel like I'll only be about. And yeah, so study away, guys. Red dot, look all in here. And like I said, do a pause, clear that up. If you have like a cell now on your camera, on your computer, you could come up, take a picture of Ian sitting right like this, and then me, whatever, but this is the actual thing, and then get him again different there, See, if you just looked, well, it moves too much, but you see my red dot there? You hear what I'm saying? You could come down here, see if there's a couple standing up in behind here, a couple down in there and stuff. Yeah. See the numbers that I talk. There's other people out there hinting at it. There's other people out there that do show you still photos and stuff where they're saying there's one here, there's one here, there's one here, where there's one. So they do these piling configurations and stuff. I even seen somebody just use that, a Sasquatch pile from out there on Vancouver Island. She used Sasquatch pile, and I don't know if she's carrying that on from me, but they really are Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever, however you want to call them. They really do go into piles, and they really do go into totem poles. So peace out. Have all that great stuff, and happy fun studying, and happy start of the year, and I hope you support me. And oh yeah, I wanted to see Bama here. What was going on there? Oh wait, I gotta do this, I guess. Live chat message that appears. Stream live chat. Okay. Oh, I see. I got to go through here. I'm sorry. There we go. Happy New Year's. Okay, so it was this one. I did just get on, but I have followed you a while. Oh no, don't go away on me. Oh yeah, this one. Understand it, but can't explain to others. Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying and stuff there, but alrighty, everybody, whoever. So is that me? What's another shot of the video? I see. Go back, watch the video if anybody's just coming on. Thank you for all your support, and we's out of here.